the gun violence and realize that, as I share with our speaker, that a gun is an inanimate object. It would take someone to pick it up and harm another person. And through our wonderful speakers, we have come to look at the root causes of gun violence and root causes of violence in general. There are different types of violences that go on, and depends on the demographics in different community, how the root causes stimulates them or stems from the violence that stems from their root or their particular demographics and particular situations and environments. And so we've had several speakers, law enforcement, political leaders, activists, religious leaders, all come to share their hopes and strengths. And most importantly, all our speakers have shared their best practices. And what we have come to conclusion is that there's so many best practices out there that are islands on their own that needs to come together. And we're hoping that we will be that catalyst to bring those best practices together, that not only in our individual communities, we will begin to work to resolve the problems, the root causes that stem from different demographics across the great nation of America, but also we can become to be a support system for one another and learn from one another. And I think that's important. And I think a national conference that we're looking forward to having. But I'm excited to have a neighbor of mine here in DC. I was at a conference, a Parents' Day conference, and Ambassadors of Peace conference, and there was a gentleman named Brother Eberman. He said, you know, I heard you talk about the webinars and stopping the violence. I have a great guy in DC who is doing extraordinary work, and he's known for the great work he's doing out there in the streets, you know, in the war zones. He's right there and doing his best to making a difference. Our guest speaker today is Chris Mosey, known as C-Webb, is without a doubt a social change leader in the Washington, D.C. area. For over 30 years, he has dedicated his life. He has been documented the life and death of youth lost to gun violence. When Curtis is not working his day job at the Kennedy Recreation Center as a recreation specialist, he spends almost every waking moment trying to prevent gang and gun violence from taking place on the streets of DC. He started the Tales of the Tate Foundation to produce and utilize his film as a catalyst for principles of prevention. His films have enabled unique collaborations between at-risk youth groups, efforts toward positive social change. Very few are able to bridge the trust gap between law enforcement and teenagers. Curtis has been a fit for this schism because of his former experience as a law enforcement officer and his TOT Foundation commitment in community. This has granted him his camera access into gang cultures to intimately put lenses on the social working of their violent and brutal world. His video camera captures their regular social interaction in basketball games, crisis situations of active shooting, hospital rooms, post situations. Interviews were sentiments, griefs, and words of prevention, and interviews of records at the safe house that he began and developed into a benefit story which the youth in DC responds to. Daily, Curtis receives calls from children and murdered parents asking for a copy of their parents' videos whom they never met. to see how they smiled, walked, and talked, and take away due to they were taken away due to acts of violence. This is incredible. I have to take a closer look at you, Chris, because you said 30 years and talked about, you still look like you still come out of the crib somewhere yourself.
Yeah.
So I have to take a very closer look at you. But anyway, God bless you for 30 years and all your effort and your dedication. Without any further ado, let's welcome my dear brother, Curtis Mosey, known as C-Web.
C-Web. Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot for having me here. I want to thank you first, for having me here, for talking to Mr. Moomin and deciding that somebody like me should have a voice on your program. So that means a lot. So I appreciate that a lot. But I also want to thank my comrade, Chris Webber. He supported me from the beginning. He's been here. And my man, Nah, he also a supporter, along with Kevin Merida and David Aldridge. So, I want to make sure I thank them people there. But now for me, it's been a long journey. This journey has been a long journey for me, And it kind of started when I was a kid. See, I grew up in the city of Philadelphia. That's where it all started. And, I was like 5 years old, and I never forget the time when we were all in bed and somebody knocked on the door, 3 in the morning, banging on our door, boom, 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 boom. So I jumped up and my dad ran downstairs and see at the door. So I'm peeking downstairs, and it was a gang member. He was running for his life. He was like, Mosey, help me, man, save me, save me. So my father hid the guy until morning time. So I'm up there watching it, and my dad turned around, saw me, told me to carry my butt to bed. He said, boy, go get in bed. So I ran and jumped in bed. But I pulled the covers up over me, and I started thinking, wow, my dad a hero. He just saved somebody's life. And then years later, we moved to Washington. My father said that we got to move to Washington. The crime was getting so bad. So we came here to Washington, and it was a good thing. It was a good thing coming to Washington, The land of opportunity. So we got here in Washington, and I became a ball boy for the Washington Bullets. I became a ball boy Bullets, and I enjoyed being around a lot of pro players at that time, at that young age. But something was missing. Something was, I don't know what it was. I kept saying to myself, I have a calling. I didn't know what it was, but something was inside of me saying that I got a job to do. So in 1985, I had moved into a rooming house. So I moved to a rooming house, and my brother bought a video camera, this Sony old video camera. And he used to be home filming the fish tanks, and that's filming a lot of stuff. I was like, man, I can't stand that camera. I didn't like that video camera at first. So one day I was home by myself. That camera was in that case, and it was calling me. It was like, so I went to the camera and I opened the case up and I grabbed the camera and I looked at it. I said, it's not so bad. So I looked through the lens, I turned it on, and I started filming stuff. I said, you know what? This camera ain't so bad. So I went outside and started documenting life. Young guys playing basketball, young guys rapping. They come to the camera, hey, see where? They in front of the camera. So I was taking that footage and going in the closet, just filming everybody, going in the closet. And then the homicide started happening. People started getting murdered. The same dudes that I was filming, having a good time, playing ball, having a time of their life, these people started getting murdered. So that's when I realized, like, wow, I didn't realize that I had so many lives on tape that got murdered. So I put together these tapes, and I put together a story of their life. And I gave it to the family members and the mother and the father. And they'd be like, oh, I appreciate you, man. I can see my son again. So right then and there, this journey just kept going and going. And then, of course, the safe house, people started coming to my house, calling it the safe house. People that were in trouble, people that were shot, people that were jumped, that were stabbed. They would come to me, well, help me, man. I can't walk back to my neighborhood because I'm in the middle of 3rd and P, and I'm beefing with them. So they come to me, I walk them back to their hood and everything. So, so as that kept going on and on, the problem has got worse and worse. It was a war. It was like a war started. These same young men who were once friends are now killing each other out for their head. You know what I'm saying? But yet they was coming to me, coming to the safe house. See, where, man, I'm not safe, man. Can you help me? Man, I need somebody to talk to. I just lost my brother. See, wait, man, I'm going through it. And I would talk to him, and I'm saying, but I would film him. I would get him on tape. And for many of them, they get a dying confession. Because a lot of them got murdered the same day I talked to them. They got murdered. So it's like they were looking for a way out. You know what I'm saying? But I was doing my best. I was by myself, one person. And I was scared too, because I was like, I was in the middle of a war zone, but I was trying to help these gang members live. And there was a price, you know what I'm saying? But I just kept filming. And here in the day, you know, I'm at my third safe house right here. It's right here, my third safe house. So many lives come through here. As you see on my wall, I got the names of everybody who have passed since 1981. It's up on my wall. Keep their name alive, that they were once a human being. So I keep their name going, you know what I'm saying? So the families come through here and see it, you know, they can reminisce about how their loved ones were. So that's pretty much, you know, how I got started and what I'm doing now.
Yeah, okay, you shared, you know, you sent me a piece that you wrote about mental health and that we haven't paid much attention to the traumas that not only they went to, but you have gone through some trauma, being that following your father's footstep unconsciously, being a hero to your community. Could you explain to us that particular, you know, those trauma situations and why you were, you shared something that you were almost killed your own self because you were trying to help?
True. Like I said, unfortunately, it was on a Tuesday. I'll never forget that. Just got off work. I had my uniform on, you know, Department of Parks and Recreation ID on, and my uniform. Everything was on. So I just had to stop past a basketball court, one of our basketball courts, just watch the guys play. It was a good game, you know what I'm saying, for a little while. But then these 4 young men, they came on the court and they had to play next. So they got on the court and then they started fussing with this guy from the other team. And then before you know it, the 4 guys that came on the team begin to jump the one guy. They were beating on his head, you know, fighting him. So me standing there, you know, as an employee, I had to take it as some kind of, I had to do something. So I jumped in there and pulled the guys from on top of dude. And the dude that was being jumped, he went crazy. He snapped. He snapped within an instant. He ran to his bag and he grabbed a gun. I mean, it had a extended clip. First thing I saw was that clip like that. And he grabbed it and you know, remember he was punch drunk. He was like, he didn't know who was hitting him. You know what I'm saying? So he grabbed the gun and he ran toward me and aimed the gun at me. So I'm thinking like, oh well, I'm about to be a homicide. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, because I understood the dude was like, he snapped, he went crazy and he was punch drunk. But I was trying to help the dude, but I couldn't talk at the time. Like when he put a gun on me, ran up on me, I wanted to say something, but I couldn't. I froze. You know what I'm saying? And I just grabbed my fist tight, just waited for the shots to go on, hit me. Because I was like, I'm about to die. I'm about to end it right here. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize that the person he wanted to shoot was hiding behind me. See, that I didn't know that at the time. The person wanted to shoot. But the dude started shooting anyway. He started firing, you know, boom, 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 boom. And he missed. But I was so close that I could see the fire and the blue flame, the orange flame from the gun. And I could smell the gunpowder and my ears were like ringing. That's how close I was to that gun. And the dude broke off from behind me. He went zigzag, he ran, and he was able to escape. Thank God. So it was like, it was a rough period. It went from a moment of happiness to a moment of tragedy. I almost died that night. You know what I'm saying? So it's unbelievable how the city is right now. You can be, you can be at a moment's notice, things can happen and your life could be hanging from a thread just like that. I thought I was about to be gone, you know, and for the powers to be, I'm still here.
Curtis, Chris Webb, not Chris Webb, I mean, Curtis Webb, C. Webb. What are you doing now when these young men and women, they come to your house for you know, as a safe house. What do you do with them? What are those words that you share with them? And maybe you can share some of their hopes and strengths and fears that they have as well that we don't know about.
Well, one of the things when they come here, I'm a straight shooter. I tell them the truth. They might have a problem with an ongoing street, or they might have a problem with a girl problem, whatever. I gotta tell them the facts. You know what I'm saying? Pursue peace. There's no way around it. I said, no matter what the problem is, you gotta pursue peace. You know what I'm saying? Step number one. I got 3 steps. I tell them. Step number one, find a person and try to talk it out and make peace. You know what I'm saying? Which means that if you had to call 911, you go with you, find that person, talk it out, and make peace. Now, some say, I don't want to talk it out. I don't want to make peace. Then you go to step 2. And step 2 is forgive the person and let it go. Let's forget about it. Go on with your life. You got things to do. You're a young person. Let it go. But a lot of times they say, I don't want to let it go. See where? Okay, so that's step 2. Now we go to step 3. And you know what step 3 is? Step 1. Find a person, talk it out, and make peace. So actually step 3 is step 1, 2, and then 3 again. So I let them know that only way to get around this is you gotta make peace. You can't be plotting to hurt nobody or still have a grudge against somebody. So one of the things I always tell them that you gotta pursue peace. And the stories they're telling me, they feel doomed. They feel nobody cares for them. Nobody want to listen to them. They like the news people only come here and say so-and-so shot dead, and then next, it's like they don't know the background, but they say that I give them, when I do my tapes, my videos, tapes, I show the whole person's storyline. They were honor roll students. They were artists. They played basketball. They had parents who loved them, and they too were loved. So that's the message I give them, that sense of hope that they're not getting from the streets. So they kind of say that's why they can relate to somebody like me, because I'm on the front line too. When the shots going off, I'm ducking too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm right there amongst them. So that's one of the things that this safe house does. You know, nobody stays overnight, but basically they come here for, they want to talk to somebody or to see their loved one. I had people come here and say, see, wait, I want to see my brother. Sure, here's Lee Marshall. Here you go. And they watch the tape. And they, oh my, the tears come down and they smiling. But you know what? The last time I did that, when the 2 brothers came here who just lost a brother, 2 brothers came in, I showed my videotape. The guy's name is Lee Marshall. And the other 2 brothers, when the tape was over with, I grabbed my camera and I asked them, how y'all feel about what I just saw? And they pulled their heart out to me. See, well, we like what you're doing because you showed the fun times of a loved one. And then a year later, that same brother that was there, he gets shot and killed. So see how, you know what I'm saying? So I got him on tape hugging his brother in the casket. Then a year later, his other brother that was over here with him is hugging him in the casket. So it's like, it's an ongoing process. These young men going past the casket, it's like they seeing their own self there years later. And I've been filming it and
saying to me that you, because of the work that you have done, now we have, and that was interesting enough, ironically, that just before I came on, I decided to look at a few news articles, and one was with Common, who is a actor and also a rap artist. But there was one that you said that has come to not your rescue, but has aligned with you, and that's Nas, who is also a very famous actor. And it was interesting. I just read the article just before I came on, and Common was commenting on the lyrics of that particular song, because the song had maybe a positive twist to it. Can you tell me about your relationship with this famous rap artist?
Nas. I'm telling you, I met Nas through Chris Webber. Chris Webber came to the safe house, and I showed him my fam. He saw my memorials on the wall, and he was like, he was in tears. And he was like, you know what? I need to meet Nas. And I was like, Nas? He said, Nas, come here. I said, Nas, yeah. So So he set it up. They flew me out there, me and my brother. They flew me to his house. And you know what I'm saying? So we was heading to his house. So, you know, I always keep my video camera. You know, I always keep that camera with me. So we was going up to the door, and Webber's like, you know, it's this private place, so, you know, don't put the camera on. I'm like, sure, Webb, I understand. So we got in there. He came to the door. Webber introduced us, and we were like family. You know what I'm saying? I was in his crib. You know what I'm saying? We was in there just talking about some things that's going on in Washington. So then he was saying, "Listen, now it's time to see the film, the tape." So I put the DVD in, and he got a flat screen on the wall. He got this couch, this beautiful couch from over the islands that he had shipped in. Beautiful couch. So we all there watching it, watching my fam. And soon the tape went off, Nas turned to me and said, "See, where you got your camera?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it in my bag." He said, "Pull that camera out." I was like, "Here?" He said, "Yeah, pull it out." So I pulled it out, and he got together, and we interviewed him, and he said, you know, how, you know, rest in peace to my buddies who I lost in the streets. He said their names. I mean, I was calling the family members. "Here's Nas, y'all," and he would talk to the mothers and telling them sorry for your loss. I mean, that meant so much to his family. People don't understand it. I told Nas, and you don't know Chris Webber and Nas, you don't know how much that means to these families that's going through it. They lost loved ones, but yet I'm calling you all and letting you talk to them. He made their day. So he's a good guy, and I mean, he still shows me love. He has shows. He's flying me out to his shows. I'm on stage with him. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, you are, because God has blessed you. You have a mission, like you said. I like to read this. And also, before I came on, for some reason I ran into one of the most one of the most famous lyricists and rap artists from the old school, and that's KRS-One, right? He is an African-American artist. And I just, under your bio, I decided to read this, and I wanted to get your take on it because I think you're alluding to the same points, and I wanted you to kind of ad-lib on it because you have recorded the really pain in the heart of the families, those who are victims, those who are victimized as well. He said KRS-One, which is one of the most famous lyricists, you know who he is. He said, and now they're crying, because he was just talking about, the article was saying that the original hip hop mission was not just about money, but it was about a message. And now that message is turned to money, so they can say all the vile things they want to say now. They can act all they want because this is what, you know, the audience wants. They think they want. And so they have sold out. And he says it's very interesting. And now they're crying, African Americans, that there's a problem with America. And that Black men don't want to be home with their kids. Black women aggravating Black men. Crazy, he says. Black children don't want to listen to Black men and Black women. So where is the Black family at? That is what hip hop is dealing with. This is what we're dealing with, he added. To help combat these challenges, he spoke on the importance of talking to youth because many don't have a proper supervision, you had said, skills, and love needed, not only to be socially conscious, but to access better opportunities and progressive lifestyle. KRS-One visited prisons and juvenile centers to talk to young people, hopefully to ignite a change of their perspectives. Now, I've just read that just before I came on as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So can you embellish upon what I said from your personal experience out there on the front line?
Most definitely, most definitely. One of the things that I mentioned that in my book. The topic about families I have failed. You know, anytime you got social media raising our youth, you know, we got social media out here raising our youth, and you go on any social media, well, you go on certain social media platforms, all you're seeing is African Americans killing African Americans. all day long, constantly seeing it. So if you're a young kid and you constantly see that, well, it's not. Guess it's normal. Because are you seeing images of normal extended clips jumping out of cars, shooting over African American? I guess they go as normal. So that's one of the problems too. So and then if the father's not there, unfortunately, and the mother trying her best, of what she can do, but she's a mother, the father, he put that big dad, Big Mo ain't play with us. Big Mo, when Big Mo come, we all stand at attention and we like, yes sir, yes sir. So it's a big difference now. I mean, then and now. So I like I say, it's sad. I see so much going on. I kind of feel for the youth because they're in that mode of lostness, hopelessness, and we'll need people to come to the plate and step up and help address that and let them know that no, it's not okay. In fact, these young guys today, they consider somebody 25 as old, or you're old head. So you mean that is something wrong with somebody living for a long time? Well, then should I apologize that I didn't get shot in the head? Or should I apologize that I didn't get murdered in the street for doing something bad or robbing somebody? I mean, is that normal to die early? So that's what the mindset is now. These kids, they think that living past 25 is wrong. So Chaos right. Yeah, here's the point. He's right.
I appreciate what you said. It's interesting that we're having this conversation because both articles I read like 5 minutes before we came on. And one thing that struck me was this article was talking about the hip hop had a message, and that message, and he did mention social media is raising the consciousness and the moral construct of our young people. That's why they're acting so foolishly. Secondly, I was moved. I wanted to read this article because Common was saying this is Nas, your friend. The lyrics in his song is probably one of the best ever in history. So I said, well, that's nice for one artist to say that to another artist. And so I tried to read what he was saying. And it was just because he was really advocating positive words and positive thinking. I thought that was great. Secondly, I think I've always said that our artists who are more conscientious about this really need to collectively come together and begin to speak to these youth, speak truth and speak wisdom into these young kids. And like you said, for Nas to call the parents, that was like the best thing that ever happened in their lives. And then lastly, and then I want you to address all of that as well. Lastly, that moment, God gave you that moment. Your dad, became that hero to you. That was a moment that God knew that you were destined to do this, to be a hero to others. And you're really putting your whole life out there. You're making a big sacrifice. And I think we have not made enough sacrifices like you to go out there, put the fear aside. And because you put the fear aside, that gunshot did not come near you. You know what I mean? So we know there's absolutely, a God. And I know how important the fathers are, because as a 5-year-old, my father said something to me. I can tell you verbatim what he said. It just stuck. I'm 5. Look, what is that? I'm not going to tell you my age, but that's many, many moons ago. Okay. But word verbatim, he gave me a message, a positive message. And I remember word verbatim. So that's very important. Tell me a little bit about those kids out there that you have spoken with that were seeking those heroes in their lives, but did not have those opportunities.
Yeah, like again, what I'm saying? Like, I was very fortunate to have a person like Nas, what I'm saying? He called me his brother, he don't call me his friend, he called me his brother. So, what I'm saying? Like I say, that meant a lot to me. But it's not about me. Even when I was in their presence, I wasn't thinking about me. I was thinking about their mama who lost her son Scooter, Delonte Marshall, Lee Marshall. I'm thinking about how their mothers sitting home hurt and crying. So I said, I asked them, Weber and Nas, And they were calling everybody. We was like this phone company. We had dialing one mother, and then calling our other family, and they were like, oh. So that means so much to me. That means like, it meant a lot to me. But I know it means a lot more to the families, cause they hurt, man, and these brothers hurt. These people outside, man. Even when a lot of times when I'm going to the bus stop, a 12-year-old see me, he'll come running to me. See, man, hey, can you feel me? Can you feel me? So when I get killed, my friends can remember me. You can put a tape together on me. So it's like they're expecting that terrible outcome. You know what I'm saying? I gotta tell them, no, man, you're not gonna die, man. No. But I know back in my mind, the chances, oh my goodness. But like I say, over 100-some people who have gone, have been taken away. So, and it's crazy. I can remember all of them. That's the thing. I knew what they like, what kind of tennis shoes they wore, what they basketball. It's like crazy, but it's like I remember all that. Where we used to go play ball, that baseball and softball. It's here, and then the kids. Oh my! I forgot that. A lot of the people who lost their parents, that they were still their mom's stomach. Now they're teenagers, and they're looking at me on Facebook and social media. They're trying to find me. They find me. Oh, I'm so and so, daddy. Are you see where? I said, yeah. You remember LeCount? I said, yeah. Well, he's my daddy, and I wasn't born yet. But can I see how he look? Can I see how he talk? Sure, I got the tape for you. So it's constantly I'm giving back now. Those never got a chance to see their daddy. So it's like the reward is like, wow. And then just to think about it, that camera, that Sony camera back in the day, that old camera. See, they didn't have cell phone cameras back then. But a lot of people were scared to bring a camera. You didn't bring no camera in no hood. I mean, Rayford Evans out there doing his thing, Wayne Perry out there doing his. Oh, you didn't have no camera, you got no camera in the hood. But for some reason, I wasn't scared, and I was able to capture. I knew I was capturing. I was just out there filming. And now we come to the day, it has meaning because I captured lives. You know what I'm saying? People who are loved, people who are still loved. So
that's very powerful to just share with us. I want to open, I know I had another question, but it could lose me. It'll come back to me later. But I want to open up the floor. I do see Brother Ibrahim like to share anything, and he's on.
Oh, you on?
Yeah, I see him there. Brother Ibrahim Moomin, are you there? Or when you're ready, please, share some things with us. He's the one who introduced me to you. How about anybody else have any questions? Oh, Dr. Alexander. Yeah.
Greetings, one and all, peace and blessings. I want to commend this man of God, this disciple, this chosen one that God has preordained and destined for such a time as this. It moved my heart every time he says that he has the video that he can show and share with the family. You're talking about children that didn't know their father, had no concept of who their father was other than what was told to them, can go to this young man and say, you videoed my dad? You videoed, you videoed my uncle? I think the call and the blessing that is up on your life will shape and mold a different generation to give them choices. See, sometimes we can't judge people by their choices because we don't always know what their options are. So we would like to think that they picked the best option that was fitting for them at that time. And for you to pick up that camera and go out into the community and just like you said, just begin to record because you didn't like the camera. So that in itself speaks to me that this is a position that God will place you in because he knows the end from the beginning. He knows how things are going to play out, and he knows what's going to happen next. And he has used you, my brother, as a valuable tool to the community to be able to share the life of these young men that have died way before their time. So I thank you for what you're doing. I pray that you continue to do it. I understand your position with Nas, you know, and when you get to my age, you don't necessarily listen to rap. But my youngest son turned me on to Nas, and I've kind of followed him throughout the years. And during that process, if we take the time to listen to some rap music, it's some powerful, powerful messages there. And you having the opportunity to talk with him, to speak with him, and to record him just shows me, identifies where God had you, where he has you, and where he's leading you. So let that camera continue to grow you, to expose you for the things that God has called you to do. My blessings unto you, my brother. I commend you.
Thank you. Thanks,
So that was from the heart of Mama. Yes. Anyone else?
Aaron Allerill ask a question.
Sure. Welcome, Brother O'Connor.
Yes, sir. I want to know, there's a annual program or annual activity called National Night Out. I don't know if you've heard of that or been involved with that, but it's quite a wonderful program where they get neighborhoods together and invite policemen, law enforcement officers, and all people in neighborhood kind of get together and get to know each other more and more. And as you know, it kind of helps when you know people. You put a name on a face and know what they're about and who they are and the value of them as a human being. You have more of a sense of respecting them and looking out for their welfare as well as your own. So it actually is going on yesterday and today. I think officially 1st and 2nd of August are the actual dates that they do this every year. And I've seen it do quite a good thing for neighborhoods. So thought I'd mention that to you.
It definitely sounds like a winner. But definitely, like I said, this program, it definitely can go on a national level. In fact, I have a film. I have a 40-minute film that covers everything that we talked about. I have a 40-minute film where I follow the lives of these young guys at my safe house. And it shows them alive, talking about for their life. And it shows them, unfortunately, in the hospital. I'm there while they're being worked on. I'm filming. And then I'm when they die, I'm at their funerals with their homeboys, husband. So I have a nice family. Like it's like you learn from it for the kids of the day and learn from the past mistakes that happened that I captured. Mm-hmm. So it gotta can work.
Here. Mm-hmm. You know, they have the ability to use what we call three-dimensional person, like a real live person. What do you call that? What's the word? Hologram. Yeah, and they have all the person's life story in there, and they can stand up there, and they talk to you just like their life today, and it's an amazing, quite an amazing kind of thing. So you can go clear back to grandpa, great granddad, whatever, way back when, other famous people, anybody in your family, you could do that, and then they'd answer questions. You'd answer, what were you doing in 1952, grandpa, whatever, Mm-hmm. It's really wonderful kind of thing. Good for you. Thank you so much for your investment. Very good.
Appreciate kind words.
Thank you, John, for that very much. I appreciate it. I have a question to ask you. You sent me, I never got the actual chapters that you sent me, but I did get the table of contents of your book. And there's some very interesting chapters. The first two are: a fallen apple slowly dies in my arm after a fist fight. And the other one is history recorded in blood. The tapes don't lie.
Mhm.
Could you explain those? Why did you come up with those particular topics,
Sure. Like young
chapters?
man, like the first chapter, young man got into a fist fight. He actually my god brother, young guy. He was one of the guys, 17 years old, but at 18 or 17. He was in the neighborhood, had a dysfunctional family, but he was out there in the streets trying to survive. So and it seemed like he always would come to me like a big brother. He have a problem. He come to me, I talk to him. He lose a loved one in his family. He come to me and talk to me. I'm saying, even when he got his first ID, his first 9 drivers with ID, he ran up, he came up to me, he gave me a hug and said, "Oh, I got it." I said, "Well, thank you for helping me." So he was like, always looked at me as somebody who, as a big brother. So one day he got into a fight and he got stabbed. You know what I'm saying? He got stabbed in his chest and he ran to the restaurant where I was at. And he fell out. He fell out. And so I did CPR on him. I brought him back to life. He died twice in my arms. But I brought him back twice. The third time, he couldn't hold on. So he looked at me and passed in my arms. So, that's ever one of the hardest things, that hit me hard. So somebody was trying his best, but the streets wasn't helping him, and he was pretty much on his own, dysfunctional family. So he died, but I can tell that the way he looked at me before he passed, that I can tell he was content that I did all I could do. I can tell by his expression. So that did, that was a terrible moment, but unfortunately, that's how the streets of Washington are. You can go off for a second, then it can end. It's just like that. So that's the first one. And the second one was, what's the second one?
The history recorded in blood.
Yes, and that's I have a timeline in my book. I have a timeline from 1981 up to now. Each year, like on my wall, even on my wall, each year it's a row, a rack, it's a row of a year, how many people I lost. Like in 90, I lost 5 people. 92, I lost 2. In 91, I lost 2 people. 93, so I keep a count of everybody who I personally knew, talked to, fed, bought clothes for, whatever. Their number is on that wall, and each year. So I think 97 was my biggest year. I lost like 8 people in 97, and 96. So it was definitely deadly. So I keep up, history recorded in blood. That's what it was. The facts don't lie.
Don't lie. Let me ask you another question. In chapter 4, I like to move. You have chapter 4 and chapter 2 are very similar. It's talking about gun violence, and I know chapter 4 is a surge of juvenile gun violence, and why?
Yes, and that's.
Could you address that?
Yes, I can. Most definitely. And that's another topic that I wrote. That the reason why it's throwing because, again, it points to the house. You know what I'm saying? Who's monitoring the children? A lot of times these 4 or 5-year-old, 6-year-olds, they're now on social media. They know how to go on Instagram and iChat and they know how to do all kind of stuff going in this, and they seeing these violent acts. It's constantly seeing that. You know what I'm saying? And so that there plays a serious part, because if you keep seeing something every day, then it becomes normal. There's no enmity on seeing somebody's brains blown out. Okay, well, So that there is one of the reasons why in my opinion, the youth gun violence is rising up. Because I seen it coming. I'm telling you, I seen this coming. I wrote about it, and I saw this moment coming. I try to warn the government that we about to be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But now we got these homes. Now the kids are murders. Babies are killing. 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds are killing people. Wow, think about that. I warned you. I said this is coming.
Yeah, it's the crack epidemic that causes a lot of the killing, but that kind of era is over. But you're still seeing the escalation of gun violence. As you told me today, there was one already again. Yeah.
Yesterday, every day is normal. And one And one of the mayors said on a conference, I saw one day she was giving a youth conference, she was saying that they asked her a question and she stated that nobody will wake up in the morning to go kill somebody. They need to rethink that. They wake up early in the morning to go kill somebody. See, that's not to be understood. That they wake up early in the morning to kill somebody. But she thought they don't.
Other questions? Floor is a statement someone like to make. I see a good friend of mine, Mark Hernandez. Reverend Hernandez, how are you?
Very good. So good to be with you. Thank you, Curtis, for what you've shared today. As another has already said, I think it was Dr. Alexander, what you've committed yourself to is, for me, it's beyond commendable.
Yeah.
Because you're not you are doing this out of the prompting of your spirit, out of the prompting of your conscience. And I think that's what really we need to help young people get in touch with. Though you put yourself at risk, though you've done those things, inside you, you know it was worth it, right?
Mhm.
You know it was worth it. And we have to get that message out that, having a public mind, living a public life, living beyond yourself and for the sake of your community
Mhm.
actually has rewards to it,
Mhm.
profound rewards, rather than just living for oneself,
Yeah.
living for just some kind of twisted idea of glory. But, and again, what Reverend Oliver mentioned before, and what you testified to the power of your parents, of your father's example. You testified to the power of that. And this is not in any kind of, can you share anything about how there are people who've been affected by you in a positive way, who've really reject the gang life, reject that way, because they see in you a model. Also, they want to offer the young people like themselves another alternative, or something different. As Dr. Alexander was talking about, sometimes we don't understand what are all the factors that determine a person's choices, or their sense of having no choice, a feeling like they have no other choice. So if you could speak to that, I'd appreciate it. And again, I am so moved by you. Thank you so much for your commitment.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the kind words. But true, many people have come over, even gang members, even people. See, I've been in this game a long time, so I know when somebody might have shot somebody, killed somebody. And I know that I can have that sixth sense. So they come over to the safe house and they look at the wall, and I look at them in a certain way that they don't know I'm looking at them, and I can tell, that they kind of feel hurt of what they've done. You know what I'm saying? And I can see that sense of humanity now. It's like, wow, man, I'm gonna do better next time. I'm not gonna live that lifestyle anymore. So I have changed a lot of people, because a lot of people that have seen my work that come over here, they're not gonna say, oh yeah, I try to shoot so and so, I try to kill Billy Bob. No, I don't want to know about that. I don't want to know about that. But oh wait, I want to help you, man. I felt this, man. They like, I felt your video, man. That guy on there look like me. It could be me down there. So it's so powerful, but it's just that it's got to be done on like the schools. And I should be given an 8-hour course in all the schools year round with the trail I got, because if it works, it's powerful. So like I say, to your question, many people have changed. Many people, a lot of people come through here are now cops, firemen, they're comedians, actors. So believe me, I do have success stories. But You know, thank you. Yeah, I say it's not easy and it's dangerous work, but you know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be trying times, but to get something, you gotta give up something. To gain something, you gotta give up something. So, I wanna take that chance, I fund myself, anybody give me no money, I'm not being funded by no government organization. I take all my resources and pay my bills first, then whatever left, I can help bury people, I can help people buy suits for the funeral, I can help people get clothes, shoes, sneakers. I mean, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you right quick a story. One day I went to lunch at work, and I went to a carryout. I ordered some French fries. I was in line about to pay for it. Some said, "Don't pay for the French fries. Go to Subway." So I said, "Sorry, I don't want French fries." So I walked 3 blocks of Subway, ordered a sandwich. About to go out the door, it was a gentleman there sitting down. So I said, "How you doing, Mr. Bob?" So I went there, sit down, and talk to him for a minute. I was sitting here, a young man came running into the store, running for his life. And he was trying to get in the bathroom, by the bathroom, but the bathroom always kept locked. So he looked around, saw me. He basically sat in my lap under the table. And I knew that he was being chased. I knew what was going on. I said, "Uh-oh, here's the big one." You know what I'm saying? So he's under my lap hiding. And then I look at the window, 3 guys come walking by. You know, he's trying to find somebody. They had masks on. They come running past the Subway store with the glass window. They walked by and they came back. I could see through the glass. They was like, "Dang, go." I breathed in, they came into the store. That's when I had to stand up. I stood up in between him. These guys were going to put a hurting on that dude. But I convinced them, "Look, guys, don't do it." The crazy part about it, I knew all 3 of them. They had masks on. I knew them. I bought them shoes before. One of the people got killed. I did a story for his cousin that got murdered. I did a story for his cousin. And the other short dude with the dreads, he was a little hard headed. He was like, he kind of didn't want to hear it for a while. So I had to convince him that not to do it. And they agreed, and they ran out the store, and a life was saved. So it's crazy how these moments, pop up. And I ain't told Nas. Nas, he asked me about that. I told Nas and about that. I was like, "Tell him about that." So he was amazed by it.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend Hernandez, for asking that pertinent question. One of the things that came across my mind, and I've said this before, there's a time where, us fathers have to go out there and do the same as you. And if they shoot us, they just shoot us. But they need that father figure. See, it works. Somewhere along the line, those kids have a conscience, but no one has come and challenged them in a positive way, So I really appreciate that. There's another thing that you shared with us earlier, and you wrote that you're helping, even for your own self, but helping those who have gone through these traumatic experiences to deal with their trauma. Could you share a little bit about those traumas that they have experienced and how you're helping them to deal with those traumas? Post and
Right. Well, one of the means I use is my videotape. That tape I filmed years ago, I thought it was meaningless. I threw it in the closet. Oh, that tape is now valuable. This tape is now valuable. It's like, this is a $1 billion tape now. Because a loved one is on there who they never saw or heard talk before. "Oh, how you sound? How you walk? Oh, I sound like my daddy. I walk like him too. Oh, we like the same food." This is what healing is part of the healing too. Healing process. Cause they feel left out, man. I ain't even never had no daddy. I don't want to know how my daddy look, No. I can help you with that. I got a vault of light tapes where I can bring them back to life and help bring closure. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that I'm always concentrating telling them that you gotta be a good person in your father's name. You, if they see, you gotta make that name. You know what I'm saying? You gotta carry your father's name. It's important. So I just keep getting hope. I keep putting that hope in them. Don't give up. Don't give up. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. You know what I'm saying? People out here love you. I love you. So don't give up, man. That's what gotta be done. You gotta keep going. And then they trust you. They have that. They can tell you when you're sincere. They can tell a person, "Real, I'm kids smart." You know, people got to be, oh man, I've been in jail, man, 30 years and all. They don't want to, they're not interested. They didn't want to know, where's your heart? Are you sincere? They want to see your true color. And I've been demonstrating it for years. I can walk away anytime I want. I could have been walking away. But no, I still see hope. That's why I'm here.
Thank you. Wow, thank you. Anyone else, as we're coming to the close, anyone else have any questions or comments to make? The floor is open.
I'm wondering if there's any place to refer people to, like you said, these kids are, on social media. Would you send them, or would you recommend to their parents they go to a Boys and Girls Club or some? Is there any, are there good organizations that are out there that can help you in your whole work that you're doing as far as?
Yeah, well, definitely. Like I said, I work for the Recreation Center, DPR. I directed
Oh, yes,
Demi Freeman.
recreation, yeah.
Right, Miss Freeman, Demi Freeman. I met her. She's a good, she loved the kids. She worked with the kids before. That's a whole history of working with the kids. And I met with her and the team. And yes, you come in for swimming. We got basketball. We got soccer, pool. They even have a Roving Leader program where you can come there. Whatever problem they have in the community, talk to a Roving Leader. And and whatever problem going on, they help you solve it. So DPR is definitely the place I would recommend, that they go to. Well, of course, there's a lot of things going on, students around the city, they try to do the best they can do. But like I said, I like her leadership, Demi Freeman. She's really she just got here, she's new, and she's making her mark. And I truly believe in her work, that she has that vision that's going to help these youth out here, have a better life and enjoy themselves. Put the pressures of the world off your shoulders. Y'all too young for that. Enjoy your life right now.
Yes.
That's one of the places I would recommend.
Yeah.
Parks and Recreation.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Wayne, your hand is up.
It is, Curtis. Thank you so much for your comments and your story. The one thing that jumps out at me is the quality of heart that you have for your brothers and your sisters. It's a unique quality, and it's really the only thing that we have that we can really use effectively. And you do it amazingly well. I'd like to hear from you. How did you have this quality of heart? How did you develop it?
Wow. Well, it started again. Well, like I said, I'm fortunate. I had a mother and father, who taught me, the basics of being a child and respecting the elders. Big Mo was 6 foot something, and Big Mo was size 12. So that's a good thing. So he kept us in order. But again, I'm very fortunate. I had that family structure. That, the business side, the Bible. I was taught at a young age how to love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's very important. That's what's missing. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And the blueprint to solving all our problems right now, and the government don't realize the blueprint to solve all our problems is God's word of power. Every instruction he gave for mankind is in it. Love your neighbor, you love yourself. How to treat your wife. Everything's right there. So we need to get that Bible and get it off the shelf and clean it off and start reading it and using it. And that set me as the person that I am. To be a humble person. I'm a humble person. I'm lowly at heart. I don't want to be, I don't own a car, vehicle. I don't want none of that. I don't own none of that stuff, but I'm content in doing for others. I don't need the jewelry and bling blings all I have to do is a place to stay on my head, and I can continue to help out those out there who's in trouble. Because I see these youth now, my heart goes out to them, the families that they're hopeless. But I was instilled from my parents the love and put into me. And seeing Dad say that got life, that was so important. How 3 in the morning, they knocking on the door. My other brothers, they're all still asleep. But I woke up and I crept up the bed, went to the stairways and looked down and seen that. wow. And then years later, here I am. I'm saving lives. So it's like, I mean, you know, wow.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are coming to a close. I want to thank you, C. Webb, Curtis, Mosey, for your beautiful, most of all, your beautiful heart. You have a great heart. Actually, when I saw your face, you know, you brought that collage. So if I said you need a headshot, so when I saw your face, I saw that your kindness is already in your face. I can see that in your picture. That comes natural to you, and God knew that, and God has used you for an extraordinary platform to help the kids. And it just goes to show how many kids are yearning for that kind of love, that kind of safe place. And I know it breaks your heart that you have said before that, you know, some kids come in here looking for the safe place and walk right out the door and get killed and shot or murdered, you know, that kind of thing. So I know it breaks your heart, but, you know, just like you said with that young man, when he came running, he knew where to come. So he came to you for his last breath, you know, and he showed you in his eyes that in your arms, he knew he was in a safe place. So I want to thank you for that. Do you have any last words you want to share with us as we come to our close?
Yeah, again, I appreciate everybody being here, you know, having me here on the show. And again, I just hope the people that remember, we gotta, in order to get peace, we've been, in order to get peace, we have to pursue peace. You know what I'm saying? That we got to go to the right place to get it. That place is God's word, the Bible. Until we start there, then getting peace from the government or some other organization, it's not going to be a true peace. We want true peace. That's God's word, the Bible. So I just hope that people that can start, you know, reading the Bible and try their best to follow it. Like I said, it's my book. You know, it's one of my books I released. You know, my stories and everything. So, you know, Safe House. You know, our youth are under attack. It's the perfect title. Our youth are under attack. This is going on right now. So,
Did you put that in the text?
Yes.
Plus, we have it on the
right.
send it out to everyone, but put it in the text again.
Amazon.
And Amazon, say what is it? Shared for the people who are live. You know, C. Webb, Safe House, DC.
Gun violence. Our youth are under attack.
Youth are under attack.
It's
We
going
want
on
to
now.
thank you. Yes, sir. We want to thank you. I don't know if everybody knows, I'll say it again, but actually he lives, his safe house is in walking distance to where I'm sitting right now. And so we're going to definitely have to come visit there, and when we get together and we'll share some strengths, hopes, and maybe some ideas and how we can continue to help. I want to thank you so much. Just want to say we love you. We want to thank you for all your sacrifice that you have been making. And that's why God is on your side. And those kids are so grateful to you. Even the ones who went and lost, they're still grateful to you for just a moment of goodness that you extended to them while they lived their short lives here on this earth. Want to thank you again. Want to thank everyone always for coming. It's been beautiful. Let's give him a round of applause. All that you've done. I know the people out there live are watching and applauding you and all that you've done. Brothers and sisters, thank you so much. We will see you next week. As you know, we'll always have just incredible people, and we're going to get all the incredible people. I keep saying that, but I had a discussion yesterday where I'm going to bring all these incredible people so that we can share our hopes and strengths, ideas, and best practices. We can shed tears together, and we can go out and save our community and save America. Thank you very much, everyone. God bless you, and see you next week.
Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
God bless you.
Be safe.
God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank
May
you
his peace
so
and grace continue
God
to
bless you,
shine
brother.
upon you.
Great presentation.
You're a great
Yeah,
brother.
awesome.
You're a giant among them.
Thank you.
Amen.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Amen.
Keep at it, brother. God bless you.
You're a great example. We
Thank you.
appreciate you.
You're right.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Uh,
you, Reverend Carter.
All right, thank you. God bless. See you next week, everybody.
God bless. See you next
Thank
week.
you, Mark. Good to see you, Mark. Come on.
Everyone, yes.
Bless.
God bless.